Hi everyone, my name is Praveen Kumar. I am from the RUM R&D. Today we'll walk through what is real user monitor and how it works and details. So I'll just share the agenda today what I'm going to cover. So today I'm going to cover what is RUM, and we'll go through deep dive into the RUM, and few RUM reports I'll show it in the application health UI, and how to access RUM documentation, and if time permits we'll go for the troubleshooting steps actually. Let's go to next slide. Yeah, what is RUM? RUM is basically is called real user, full form is real user monitoring. So yesterday you saw BPM, how it works, like say synthetic monitoring, where script used to generate data and see how availability and how performance is getting reported. But in this case, in real user monitoring, it's a completely a real traffic, the traffic which is flowing on the devices that we are capturing and reporting how it is performing. Okay, so basically actual transaction made by the end users and applications. So RUM will usually deployed. There are two model method available. So I'll just the most common and common model I'm going to explain first. Then we'll go to the and at the end of the session we'll go to the other model, how we can about the data collection. So here, if you see here, though the location like Sydney, New York, Delhi, and right, so they are trying to access a web server. Okay, so this is the web server available. So for some services like yahoo.com or something, right? So whatever data comes here, so it will we will capture it and we will report it actually. So this is available. I'll explain full in depth in the next slide. Okay, just have a look. If you if it comes into your just mind, just think about this diagram, how it works. So let's jump into how it works part actually basically. So you just for some time, okay, this right side part you just ignore it. Okay, I'll come to it in a minute. So suppose if you are booking a flight ticketing system, right? So what happens? You will just you'll start from your client. Okay, you'll just go to your client, flight controls, this one website, and will like say login. First you will log in, then you basically select the itinerary and all those things and make the payment, and you'll come out. Okay, gracefully you'll come out, and you are not bothered about what is there, what is this web server application database, nothing. You don't need to worry at all actually, like you are like a car driving, so you don't need to worry about the internals of car, right? So same thing. So the worried people who are worried, like so who are providing the support to you, right? So the airways companies, they are in charge of the system. So they want to know how it is performing my application, how they want to know the solution. Okay, for that they will there is a solution like that. We have a real user managed solution like application performance management, one of the solution. This they will choose basically. So here, so you can now you just see all the complete end-to-end diagram. What happens? I will just user will just initiate the session. Okay, it will go to their edge router and it will go to the firewall of the Airways company's website, and it will go to a switch and a load balancer, and from there it will start. So load balancer, just for your just for the information. So what it does a two main thing actually. So it will avoid direct exposure to these servers, right, from the users. Okay, it will stop there. And other thing is if one of the server, if this server goes down, right, so it will stop routing traffic to this server, and it will routing traffic to only the remaining three servers. So some kind of redundancy it will provide. Also security perspective, it will provide some help actually. So the traffic flows through here, right? So when this switch is like there is a option to mirror the data. Basically, mirror means a copy, like spanning the port. It's a span port. One port will be spanned. So whatever traffic, right? Request goes, right? Request goes here also, one copy. And anyway, original request goes here also. And there's a server, right? Web server and other thing. It will process the data. Okay. Then it will give the response. Okay. It will close the same path, but one copy goes here also response. Okay. So using this, we will calculate what is the transaction time, what is the availability, and all those things we will monitor basically. Okay, so web server, you typically you may be wearing that Apache web server, and there are so many IAS web server, Tomcat web server, and all those things are web server. And application server, like your application, banking application, or like airware companies like website, that application, and it will have the database, like the database to retrieve the username and some other detail, right? So all those things will be stored under the database. This is how the general in a general website works basically. Okay, so you have any doubt in any questions, or you are clear with the concepts, or any doubts, you can feel free to ask anytime. I'll go to next. So you should take help from the IT. You will not be having generally access to the infrastructure, so you need to ask a so local IT or IT folks to mirror the traffic for you actually. That's the one dependency is here. Okay. Okay, I'll go to next scene. So how does it works actually? So for making your application to get it monitor, right? So just plan your application. What type of application you want to monitor? It's a HTTP or it's a database application, or what you want to monitor. Just note on the what type of application it is, and as discussed in the previous slide, mirror the traffic, okay, to the RUM probe, and create the APM HTTP application. So it's a application we can create using the application health UI HTTP application. If you have like suppose a non-HTTP application like database or some other protocol, right? So we'll go through it actually in the demo. So you have to go through our traditional approach of APM admin and EUM, end user management. From there you can create it. So once you get all these things done, right? So step 1, 2, and 3 done, right? So RUM probe captures the data. RUM engine enriches the data. Basically, it will massage the data. Like suppose if you have say millisecond with probe capture the data in milliseconds, so engine will make it to seconds and stores it in a RUM local database and send it to the APM. So you don't have RUM has option of keeping the data for up to like 14 days of data. You can see it actually. You can keep more actually, but if you want to keep more, the more disk space is you needed at the RUM engine side. So generally 14 days data by default it will be there. Okay. So and it will send the data to the APM. Okay, so APM store the metrics and it will store in the profile database basically. RUM has a separate, you can keep separate profile database for RUM and BPM. So better to have a profile database each separately, so that if one you get lost, right, you will have other will be, it will not get lost actually. Both BPM or RUM will not get lost actually. So better to have multiple profile database so that you have a data backup. So once that is done, so some kind of aggregation will be done at the APM, and you can once it is done, it will be stored in the APM database permanently. Okay, so you can view the reports there actually. There is no UI in the RUM engine to view the reports. Okay, you can just access the database and see how it works, how either what data and how it is stored. You can see, but there is no UI to view the reports in the engine. All the reports will be displayed in the APM only. Okay. So let's create an application. So I'll show it to you how it works actually. So you have to log into APM, click on the application health, and click create a new app, and provide the necessary details. export the RUM application. This I'll show you how to export, and define non-HTTP application also I'll show you. I'll create one and show it to you, and view action I'll just explain it. So this is the one application which is running no monitor. For this, if you see this application, right, there are 4 details available here. This first thing is protocol. This is a HTTP protocol, and where it is running on a web server. Okay, this is a Tomcat web server. Okay, and what is the application name? It's a JPEG store. And what port it is running? It's running on the 9292 port. Okay, this 4 detail you need it for the creating any application. Okay, so let's start. So I'll go to, I have logged in actually to APM. And once you logged in, you have to click on the application health. This is a new UI. Yesterday Vinodhan has demoed, right? The same UI. You need to you can expand it, or you can mouse over and see what is this is each icon says. Okay. So I created one Advantage online banking application, but I will, for the sake of the demo, right, I'll just create one more application. So under app setting, real user monitor, click on this. This is what we did. Click on create application health and create the new app. Click on the create new app and provide the necessary detail. Okay. So I'll click on the create new app. Okay. So I'll just provide a JPEG store. Okay, so description for some meaningful description you can put. UI specifically designed for creating the HTTP application. Okay, all these things will come by default. Okay, you don't need to enter. You can create a profile database here. You can basically select the profile database, and you can attach engine here. Add engine, and you can add the engine from the list. Okay, and what are the probes it is available, so you can see and say you can save it. Okay, I'll just cancel it since I created. So I'll show the one I created. You just cancel this. If you, there's a drop down available to view the application exist in the HTTP application exist in this system. Okay, so this is the one I created yesterday. So this is Advantage online banking, as I told before. So if you see here, BPM application, it will listed here, and RUM application will be listed like this. Okay, I'll just log in, click on this. Okay, so I have provided actually, so all the detail. I selected the engine and all those things I did. So here one important point is like application configuration, right? So HTTP and this is the web server. It's a JPEG store the application, and 9292 is the port. Importantly, you have to put this star button actually. So star, otherwise what happens? Whatever traffic hitting this up to here only will get consumed. Remaining things it will be ignored. So you have to put this prefix actually. Okay, star button, very important. Okay, and save the save it. That's it. So you are done with the application configuration. Okay, so I'll just go to, I have covered what I have covered, necessary detail. So I'll go for this item and other 2 items. So I'll from here, yes, we have one short. I'll go to home screen. Yeah, here you have to click on admin and end user management. Just, yeah, okay. So this is the one we created. So, and it's available here also. Okay. So if you want to take a backup of this, right? So what you can do is there is a option to, you can export the this application. You have to select the whatever the application you want to export it. Click on this link, export RUM application. You need to select. Okay. You can store it some online banking. Okay. And save it. So the whatever you saved, right, that will be in XML format. Okay, tomorrow if you want to again because it all this configuration will be there, right? All this configuration will be there. If you lose it, they will again you have to start creating from the scratch. So if you want to export it to import it tomorrow, okay, go here, click here, go to the same thing, import the RUM configuration. Okay, browse it and see this the one we created, right? So you can import it. Say open and say it will get imported here. Okay, so one way of taking the backup of your any application, basically RUM application. Okay, what you have covered. So I'll just go through. I'll just give you example of like non-HTTP based application. The RUM support multiple non-HTTP based application like database application and all. We'll go to in depth in the one slide. So here for the this one, right? So for if you are creating multiple database application or something, right? So better to create your own CI. Okay, under that you create application like say as a DB apps apps. Okay, under this right click and RUM application and its RUM configuration. Here you select MySQL. So I'll select if you want to create monitor the MySQL DB, right? Give the name, some name you can give. It's already there, I think. Okay. So give the description. Here, if you see, there are so many templates available. Okay, banks. Okay, Citrix, DB2, DNS. Okay, there are so many things. It's already available up in MySQL. Okay, you see here MySQL, NDC. Okay, POP3 and so many. I'll just show one. There is a slide for that. So for the protocol list. So I'll just show it to you. So let's for this demo purpose, we'll select MySQL.
Pavin, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah.
What the template gives you that you don't have out of the box? Why to use the template, not create it your own? It will give you something. Can you explain what it gives to how it helps? And also mention that it's available only on the old UI, not in the new UI, right? This is important.
Yeah, old UI it's available. Yeah, correct. New UI. So the one I explained you, that import export, that's one you are asking?
No, the templates. What the templates gives you?
Okay.
You selected MySQL. What is that?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. This
yes,
one. Okay.
Yeah,
this is actually a predefined configuration. Sorry. Okay. This there are for each protocol, right? There is a template created in the BSM. Okay. Under one, I can share the location. So there, it's already pre-existing actually. This you don't need to do anything actually. You just have to select the protocol you want to monitor, and I'll just show it to you.
Yeah, so basically this is a predefined. If you are like port and all those things are already defined for collection of RUM data. If you have a custom application like in-house built application, there you have to do it from scratch and you have to define the configuration. With the template, it's already provided. Like for the vendors which are like used vastly, as here we selected MySQL, it already have those configurations in the template, like what port to look for, which transaction data to look for.
Thank you.
So that's the only benefit. But if you have a homegrown application, which is not a standard and not available in the template, then you have to go through defining the each process and each of the ports, how they are talking to other infrastructure.
Okay.
So a question about this. In your diagram where you showed the web server, then followed by the app server and followed by the database server. And our probe is sitting in, I believe, in front of the web server.
Yes, correct.
If the application from the app server to the database server, it does database calls. Let's say the database is MySQL.
Yes.
Will we see those database calls if or the probe has to be sitting between the app server and the database server?
So this configuration, right? So everything should go through probe only. So that's why if you see here engine and right, engine and probe, right? So you should configure actually. The data should go through probe only. There is no direct monitoring available.
So really it depends upon whether that traffic passes through the switch where the probe is connected. If it follows a different network path and you don't have a probe, then you might miss it.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying, if the database call was only between the app server and the database server, we wouldn't see it based on where our probe is, right? We wouldn't see the database call.
He had one switch and it looks like all the traffic was going through that one network switch. In that case, you probably would see it. But
yeah, so basically you are copying the traffic. So it's a mirror data. This switch is providing it, and every call which is going through this and returning back to the browser is mirrored and it is copied. It's basically like a replica of actual transactions which are going through.
Yeah, I think Joe was making the comment about on your diagram there at the very top right where the data is passing between the app server and the database server, that you would not see that traffic.
I mean, if they were all connected to the same switch,
right.
versus logically, then I guess
yes,
we would
so
see it.
Your probe goes to a core or a distribution switch.
Right.
It don't stays at an access layer.
Would you need something else like diagnostics to see that application server to database traffic?
Dynasty use or DAG is used. Yeah, go ahead.
The answer depends upon how your network is constructed.
Right. I think I got it. Yep. That makes sense.
Again, the comment was just made about core versus distribution. It depends upon how many nodes they have, and if you want a probe on each one of them, or potentially more than one probe, depending on volume.
And that's what I think was the question is, you would probably have to have a probe between the app servers and the database servers in order to see the SQL call, I think is what the question was.
Yeah.
And so we would just put in another probe in there if the network wasn't flat and broadcasting everywhere, which it won't be. You just put a probe on that segment, right, between application servers and database servers.
Yeah, so say there, that's correct. One we can do that as well. Otherwise, there is an option to discover the tire discovery in the RUM actually. So tire discovery is like I just forgot to mention that actually. So this is the front end tire, okay, till web server, okay, and this is called back end tire. Okay, so there is an option to discover the tire discovery there in the RUM. So if you enable that, so you can see the response time also here, like it will display basically response time and what is the.
So you'd have one probe on this side that's getting the traffic going into the web servers, and then another probe either between the web servers and the app servers, or the app server and the database server to get that traffic. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, you can configure that way as well.
Do you need that for tier discovery? For all those extra
tier
probes?
discovery, it's a end-to-end. Tier discovery is the end-to-end basically, from client to this one, right? So backend it comes, right? So response time, how much and all, it will start displaying there actually. Calculate. It will say there is a automatic way of calculating inbuilt in the RUM if you enable tape discovery, and it will show the diagram also how it works.
And that would work in this configuration even with just a RUM probe catching the mirrored traffic off that one switch.
Yes, it does actually. Tape discovery
Yeah,
possible.
we wouldn't need extras. We wouldn't need to grab traffic somewhere else between the database server and the app server, what have you.
Yeah, okay. I'll do one thing. I'll just get the confirmation, okay, on this, and I'll just provide the detail, okay, how it works actually. Okay, provided I think post this meeting. Show this. So this is our PCOE load environment actually. Okay, so this is all this in private network, because we don't want to release some this heavy traffic like traffic which is in GBPS, right? Don't want to release it to the public network. So everything we put it in a private network. Okay, we have a jump station here. This is the public main network. We have jump station. From jump station you can access to entire complete environment here. Okay, so we have a load generator. All are connected to access switch. Okay, so we are from load generator, we are hitting traffic to the web server. You are able to follow?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we are hitting to the web server. The whatever this port is mirrored port actually, basically, which goes to the RUM probe. Okay. So whatever traffic will get a mirror probe from this one RUM probe will go to the engine, and engine to the APM. That's how it is working actually. This is how heavily we have tested on our like all the scale related this, right? Like we release some calculator, right? So RUM calculator, like how many Mbps supports traffic. So that testing we have done through this environment.
Okay.
Okay, so what you have done, non-HTTP application you have done, and there is one created the application, right? So this is what I was discussing. So when you create a MySQL template, and okay, this port number, right? This is the port MySQL tags, okay? That will come, and this IP range comes by default, okay? If you want specific IP range, okay, if you give this much wide, right, all whatever the PCs sitting on this network, right, on 3306 whatever traffic, right, everything will get listened by the RUM probe. So be specific, okay, give the correct IP range, and say finish it. So now you can see this database has created. You can route the traffic and view the reports. Okay, I'll show it to you. So one more thing I just want to show. So if you see the properties right here, if you see this is called CI type, okay, CI collection, and this will be the your application property. This will be your business application. Okay, just while selecting some application, right, just have a look on this so that you'll come to know. Okay. So we did that. One more thing I want to show is there's a difference between when you view the report, right? So you will see some difference. Okay. So if you see here, there are 4 tabs available. Okay. Here, this is action is there for the non-HTTP application. Okay. If you see HTTP application, it will come as pages here. Okay. So because non-HTTP like database, right? If you see pages, it will not make sense, no? So that's why it's a basically action in database domain. It's a action basically. Select star from and all those things. That's all action comes under actions. Okay. And before going into depth, okay, RUM depth, just want to mention what, like a few HTTP codes, status codes. You just have you don't need to get into the full detail. So HTTP 200 series of code is for the success, anything like I'll just show it in the next slide, success messages, and 400 level 400 series for the client side, and if any thing is broken, like suppose if I'll show you, so I'll click on Google. Okay, Google has come. Now what I'll do is, and I'll do it. Just press. It happened. 1 second. See here, this is the 404 error. This is a client side error. Okay, anything with client side error will be tracked in the series of 400. Okay, and 500 series of ports, right? I mean codes. It's very serious. Okay, if something customer reporting anything 500 series, all related to the server side. Okay, it's very serious issue. If anything comes under, it should be need immediate attention of the application owners. Okay. So I'll just make it a big screen. Okay, full screen. So before getting into the HTTP, right? So for establishing any HTTP connection, there is a TCP should it's a base basically. Okay, what TCP does is so if you want to talk to any person, right, you'll say hello, and that side you will say hello, and like that, right? So the communication plane, same thing happens around. Same thing happens in the network world also. When client wants to talk to server, right, it will send a sync message to server. Okay, the server guy will say, it will send a acknowledgement, hello, I have received your hello, and this guy says hello. Okay, and server. So now, and client will say, oh, I have received your hello, and now this the connection, right, this connection is established between the client and server. Okay, then only this is called three-way TCP three-way handshaking. Okay, this is very important. So just remember in this one, actually, when especially in troubleshooting RUM, right? So you should see that how TCP, you can go to HTTP. This one very important. So I'll just run one Wireshark and show you the traffic, how it works. Okay. So in our RUM reports, right, there are something called, you can see server time and network time, especially mentioned in a lot of reports. Okay, you will be curious, like what is server time, what is the network time, right? So once, so as previous slide shown, right, once TCP session enabled, okay, then HTTP session, I mean, will start getting in. So it will send, the client will send a HTTP GET request. Okay, for that, so server will send the acknowledgement saying the 200 okay message. We'll show it in the Wireshark. Okay, then once acknowledged, then data transmission will get started. Okay, so the red color whatever is mentioned, right, that's a server time. Okay, and blue color, it's so server is process the data, and it sent it to, now data is on the wire, basically on the cable. Okay, and the network device or cable. So that's where the network time comes into the picture. Okay, so again server time, and again like network time. That's how it is get calculated. Just have a some keep in all this concept, and just keep it in mind. So we'll see in the reports how it works. Okay, so this is a blue color one is a HTTP request, green one is a HTTP response, and this is complete, everything is called a download time. Okay, so we'll see the traffic in Wireshark now. Okay, so just I have, should be having Wireshark install. Yeah, so interface, what I'll do, I'll just start the capture, and I'll go and create some traffic. I hope it is capturing. What happened? No packet, I think. Just select the interface. It's fine only. I think something is true. So I'll do one thing. I already have a recorded session. I'll just show it to you. Okay, something called pcaps. Okay, here HTTP pcap I have. So this is the one. It's runs like, I mean, it's whatever JPEG store running, right? So then think that's a recorded session. I just open it. Okay, if you can filter here TCP or HTTP directly, you can filter. Okay, say these are all the HTTP session. It has a transaction has taken place. So you see the view the everything, right? So you have to right click here and follow HTTP stream. Okay, now you can see get request, what happened, and what is the client IP. Okay, and what is the browser it is running, and everything. For this get request, for that is a post request. Okay, you can see here 200 okay message. That means I am okay, healthy, and I'm responding you like that. And you can see modified time and what is the length. This one, right? Why it's transferred, and what kind of server connection keep alive. Everything you can see here. I mean, it will provide the complete history of the specific session. Okay. Okay, what is this is a web server, and what's the port 2006 running. Everything you can see here. Okay, what you know. So what is I was going through this, right? So 200 okay message and all those things. So now you should be having some clarity how it works. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. Okay. So you yesterday, one had told, right? So what is availability, performance, and all those things, right? So what is the availability? So, I mean, these terms you can often frequently listen. I mean, hear from the customer and CP cases. I mean, this how we will give the demos basically to your customers. So availability is like how, like, are you available? Like how much time you are when I hit a request to application, are you available in that point of time? So generally indicated in the percentage. Okay, and performance is something how much time it takes to create complete one performance, how many milliseconds it took. So that is that's measured in second basically. Okay. So I'll, as I explained in the initial slide, right? So two type of collection will be used actually. Okay, so this is a CM probe actually. CM probe stands for client monitor probe. As the name says, right? Client monitor. It does a monitoring of the clients. Okay, like your browser, mobile, and all those things, right? It will monitor. The one I told the snipping, right, mirroring, that is called the RUM snipper probe. Snipper means basically snip the traffic. Okay, so two type of capturing are used in the RUM. So you will, Alan, you will cover this in lab, or shall I show in short? You want to?
What, the installation?
Installation, or I mean, I already installed. But just wanted to show how the process and all those things. Shall I go through it for
Not the
a couple of
installation,
minutes? Or
not the installation itself. But configuration,
Okay.
of course, if you have something about configuration,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll show it. Okay. So yeah, I'll go through it, configuration part. And one thing you just have a keep in mind actually. So in 9.52, MySQL DB is separated now. So customer has to purchase MySQL DB, and when configure them, he has to provide the DB details. Okay, that is the one change in the 9.52. After change, after the installation, right? That has to be DB has to be tuned basically to process the high traffic. Like suppose 500 MB of traffic is coming, right? So there is some tuning is needed. That is documented. I'll show it in the documentation portal. Okay. And
Praveen,
snip, yeah.
can you back up one slide?
Okay.
In this slide, are there any client software that needs to go on any device in order to capture the traffic? For example, you have your RUM client. I mean, is that the client monitor probe?
Yeah, no, this one is needed actually. So everything, whatever the bare product, right? That only you have to install. There is nothing third party component. Nothing is needed.
Nothing. Okay. So
Yeah.
in like in a mobile device, would a browser on a mobile device be good enough? Is that what you would recommend? Is that how you would capture traffic?
Yeah, so mobile, I mean, any like if you have iPad and all, right? That browser is supported actually.
Say that
And
again.
if you have, I mean, if you have an iPad
Mhm.
browsers, right? iPad, yeah, those that is supported actually. So we
So,
have done some testing on those devices.
so we don't have to install anything on the client. I know
Clients
browser
you
has
will have,
supported, like if there is a remote bank branch and they have desktops which are being used, and if we want to use the CLUM CM probe, we need to install a software on their probe so that the browser data or the request can be registered.
yes. So there is one settings like some setting is there actually that we need to do it. I'll just show it to you
No, is
actually
it
in
a
the
setting?
client menu.
Is it a setting or it's a package need to be installed on
I
that
think
desktop?
something is there actually.
Is it the browser or
Java.
is it the browser or is it the application that you have to
Yeah,
inject?
I think it's an application which
I
you
think
need
it's
to
the
install on the
application.
desktop.
Yeah, application is
Well, I
also
think,
there and bro.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought from talking to John before, I thought it was actually had to like encode something else in their application.
Yeah, I thought you added some script or something to
Into
the
the app.
web page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so JavaScript related changes we need to do actually to it so that it is aware of the CM probe to send the traffic to the engine. So that setting is required actually. So I'll just try to cover that at the end. Otherwise, probably I'll send I'll point you to the documentation.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good because I'm wondering about some devices that where you need to capture, transactions, and it doesn't have, let's say, a browser. I mean, at the moment, I can't think of a device, but I'm just wondering if because in the past there used to be a client software that needed to be on of course, a client, like or on a device or a computer. But because now that we've moved to now that there's a lot of activities or that you can capture from a browser, seems to be good. I mean, that seems to be available in many devices. But just wondering if there is a client or a software that needs to be installed on a device that doesn't have a browser.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I think
got it. So I'll.
I think that the APK instrumentation, that's what they are talking about. If it's an application, then you
Okay.
need to instrument it, okay? We have a tool
Yes.
and we will do a lab on that so you can see how we do it, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
The old
Thanks.
app pulse way, the APK and the iOS
Exactly,
changes.
exactly.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that instrumentation. Yeah, so instrumentation, I mean, if you do the, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
You
have
just
a
point
Provide
to the documentation, exactly.
documentation or something like that in addition to that, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes. I'll provide that. I'll just go through. There's a documentation section in the slide. I'll just go through it actually. So how we will find the documentation. Okay.
Okay, I have a question, please.
Yes.
Sometimes the end user will face, let us say, or let me tell you an example.
We cannot hear him. Praveen?
Let's say that we are monitoring internet.
Yes. Go ahead.
I think you need to continue, and we will keep the questions.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Yeah, you cut, and we cannot hear you well. So, Praveen, please continue.
Okay. We'll have a question at the last then.
Okay.
Fine. There are many things to cover. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I was explaining this two things actually, 2 points. So that last one is like sniffer probe. Now we shipped with the embed. Earlier it was MySQL. Now we have changed the database. Now it's a SQLite DB. Okay. So I'll just show how just configuration part and how overall RUM engine looks. Okay, I'll just cover it so that you have something is there you can ask me. So this is the 9.52 engine. So login. So first thing is, so when you configure everything, right? So you just check the health status. So everything should be green basically. Okay, that's where it's basically it will show the infrastructure health basically. Like if you see the engine database, how it is working, and sniffer probe, and that application, everything configuration. If it is fine, then it will show the all green. Okay, so I'll go to the APM configuration first. So here in this section, okay, you can configure the APM basically. Oh, here is the APM host name. I have put it, and the port you want to like it's a simple plain HTTP. So I have put the port as 8080 and save the configuration. So you will get this pop-up like this. Okay, once you have saved, just you have to click on this the test.tsm password. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, in this case is already synced, so it has come very fast. So this success message should come, then only you can configure the engine in the APM application. Otherwise this whatever the engine, right, this engine you does not get listed in the under the application you want to configure. Okay, just keep this in your mind. And this the APM configuration. We'll go to probe management. I have one sniffer probe configure. Okay, you can configure multiple probe also. You can see if it's a CM probe, it will come as a CM probe. And sniffer, since I configured a sniffer probe, it's a sniffer probe. And I'll just go to edit session. So here you give some meaningful name. Okay. And here is the host where you have installed the sniffer probe. Okay, I have installed sniffer probe on this machine itself. So that's why I'm giving the this host name. You can give, if it is, you can give a local host also. It will work. And port on which it is running, it will be taken by default. By default, it runs on 2020. And the communication between engine and probe works through HTTPS by default. Okay, you can make a HTTP connection also, but for this you have to make one change in RUM probe. Okay, and restart the probe service. Then only you can make the HTTP. communication between HTTP to RUM engine. Okay, and save it. That's it. Once you save, by default it will be comes as enabled, and it will list here like this. Okay, and you suppose if in this case I have configured engine, I mean probe in the local machine, right? If you have configured in some other machine, right, there's the option to go and probe information. You can see. Okay, here it will show whether it's connected or not connected, everything. See here, probe is up and running. Okay, and what OS on probe operating system running, and what is version of the probe, and when first time if you configure all this two information will not be available. Okay, once you do some traffic flow started flowing, right, then you can see the it will start syncing up the data engine. Okay, close it. Once both are configured, okay, you can go here and under monitoring configuration setting. Okay, you can see whether you can see whether your application is synced already or not synced. You just and select application types. There are so many options available. Okay, and generate. Now you see that advantage and banking has come here. That means I have successfully configured the communication between probe to engine and engine to the application. Okay. Suppose if you change something in the engine side and may not be changes needed in the applications, right? You can select only probe and you can do the sync. Suppose if you are pushing, like if you want to change the CPU of the probe, right? Suppose if it's using four processor, you want to make it to probe to handle more traffic, and for that you have to create the, change the CPU. So that changes we can do it in the beat path configuration. I'll just show you that also. This. Oh, disk closed. 1 second. This is the machine I'm logging in where I have configured. Run another, I think another 20 minutes or 25 minutes I'll take. I think probably. Oh, bit slow today. Yeah, this is where I install the engine and the probe. Okay. So if you see status, right? Real user monitor status, it's running. Okay, and the probe also. RUM probe. Yeah, RUM probe service both are running. Okay, here something called, you see RUM configuration manager, configuration manager. This is called beat path configuration. Okay, so here you can go and control F. There's something called global section. Okay, here you can see the, if you want, like suppose if you are saying say 500 Mbps of traffic, right? This much processor thread is not enough to handle that much traffic. Okay, high traffic. So you can change it, like say to say 2, say 6, and save it. Okay. Now I'll just, before this, what pushing the this one, right? I'll just show it to you. RUM probe, etc, capture.conf. So here also, whatever you can see in bitbox, right? So same thing you can here also say that's a copy of it. It has bitbox configuration, I mean capture.conf, which is laying on the, it exists on the probe, right? It has application part, APM part, also engine part. Okay, so it's global part is like engine part actually, global. So here, if you see 4 plus thread is there. Now I made it to 6. I'll sync it and show you. I'll just go to where it is, selected, generate, or you can sync configuration. Let us see if so. Reload from the disk. Yeah, okay. I'll go to, probably I'll come to it later. It has come up. Okay. If not working, I'll do the sync configuration and see how it works. Reload from disk. Some issue, I think. What I'll do is I'll sync configuration. Okay, I'll see. Yes, yeah, it has changed now. Capture.conf, it changed to 6 processor. Be careful with this configuration. Okay, whatever configuration on the RUM engine global setting, it has percolated to the probe capture.config. Okay, be careful with I mean all these settings, processor thread. If you have very good system, then only you change it. Otherwise, don't play with these settings. Okay. Okay, go to next slide.
Praveen, how do you know
Yeah.
when to change that setting?
So for that, actually, we have a calculator here. I'll show it to you how to use that calculator also. Yes. One second. Calculator, I'll search for it. Okay, here. So there's a calculator available. It's available in SSO also. Same thing. So there is some setting, suppose in the client environment, right? So
is that calculator part of the package? Or is that?
It's not part of, actually, you need to download it separately.
Go on, go.
SSO.
Say that again. Is the calculator available with the package?
No, it's not available with the package. You can, it is uploaded in the SSO portal
SSO?
or single sign-on portal. Yeah, it's available. From there, you can download it actually. So there's a 9.52, there is no calculator. So 9.51, Okay, so number of probes if you want to select say server 1, right? Protocol HTTP is only calculate available for the HTTP protocol only. And text pattern event, suppose if you want to select 0 and 0. Okay, so if you server type Linux and Windows supported, Linux 64, Linux will give better performance than Windows. Okay, calculate if you see the how many Mbps of traffic each probe can process. Okay, if you go for Windows calculator, right? Calculator performing better than Windows. And in 9.540 onwards, there is the option to select multiple probes. Okay, you can run if you have a very good hardware configuration, you can run up to 6 probe in one 6 probe instance in one server basically. We wanted to avoid hardware footprint, so we have come up with this approach. If you see here, 6 probe for 9.51 for HTTP protocol with Linux. Multi-probe is supported only on Linux platform, and if you do calculate, it will give you this much Mbps of throughput.
Okay, I got that.
Okay.
So what does that translate to the number of processors? For example, you went from 4 to 6. Would it be because, you know, for every probe it can handle
Yes,
a total capacity of what?
Yeah, so if it is aggregated value, right, it will, I think, if suppose 700 you saw, right, 700 something, it will if you have multi-probe in scenario, it will each probe will not process that much. Okay, it will come around say around 400 or something. It will come aggregated basically. This is
aggregated, you say?
I mean, each probe can handle that much only probe instance, because all the probes, right, sitting on only one server, right? So the resource is shared there. So the capacity of each probe instance will little come down.
Okay.
Total 6 probe, you can have this. You can this much value you can achieve.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Whereas here. So we have covered configure probe, configure APM, and health. I talked about it, and I have shown the how to start the engine and probe process. Don't use the shortcut there. 9.52. There is a enable engine, enable this one, right? Enable start this one, right? So some shortcuts available in the start menu. Shortcuts. Don't use that actually. Sometimes it won't work. Okay. So we'll go to in depth actually. So what in using RUM, what and all what we can achieve basically. Okay, so you can monitor which app I mean in the which application you have transaction problems. We are like, suppose if it is taking more than 10 seconds to load a page, such kind of thing, right? That thing we can measure. And what is the business impact, overall business impact, like availability. I mean, transaction is, if you like suppose 10 seconds if it's taking, right? So it will probably customer will get I mean, you will keep on waiting, and this impact basically. So then location, suppose if you are you are accessing from the servers are there in Japan, and you are accessing from the US, and you can create a location based user groups, and which location users are impacted, all those things measurement you can do it. So focus on most important issues like full topology of the application, like web tier and all I has discussed, right? So all those things, any tier level, what kind of response you are getting, all those things, any bottlenecks are there in the network that we will come to know, and what component in the bottleneck is a web server or is somewhere database level, things you can measure. Okay, and improve where it matters. Alert will give you like any performance degradation. It will immediately send an email, and from there you will get a SMS, and so you can before the service degrade starts, you can quickly act on it. Okay, relate to the experience to the backend performance metrics like server time and client time and network time, all those things, right? So performance, how it is working, you can relate to it. And the third point is like testing. You can whatever you comes, right, whatever you will measure in the session analyzer report. So that thing you can record it and play it in the BPM as a script. That option also available. I'll show it to you if time permits. And you can postcast the metric basically if the response is like this and availability like this, and what are the problematic area, in which layer are you giving the problem. All those things you can measure using the real. So the message is, don't wait for the outages, improve the user experience by proactively detecting the service degradation and application, which are the applications at the risk. You can just proactively act on it. So in that 5x, we added some few latest functionalities. In the finance domain, we added a few protocol support, Diebold, SSTB, and banks protocol we added. And the mobile application perspective, we added a Cordova mobile application, Kotlin and Swift languages, and iOS 11 support we added. And the customer request like performance we have enhanced a little bit, and meaningful error codes like 200, 400, right? All those things I explained before. So we have a meaningful error code enhancement here done. Direct access to the report, like basically application health, right? What I've shown. That's a direct access to the report. Okay, we'll cover that in a minute. And security aspect, later we have upgraded the OpenSSL 1.1.1a or something, I think. So the latest OpenSSL upgrade, and we had a Tomcat upgrade. So I think Tomcat 8.25 or something we upgraded, and MySQL DB upgrade also in place. And other important thing is, we earlier previous release, right, we are not supporting the Diffie-Hellman cipher. I mean basically Diffie-Hellman is something, right? So normal HTTPS, how it works is like if you insert a this one, right, authentic key into the RUM probe, so it's a standard key, so RUM used to decrypt. But in Diffie-Hellman, what happens, that web server says it will create, so it is very difficult to decrypt at the engine level because the keys are that's so what it does is we will install a agent on top of a Apache server. Whatever the keys, right, random keys, it will get decrypted and send it to the RUM probe. So that's how it works. And we added RHEL 7.7 support and Windows 2016 support also in the latest release. Yeah, these are all the legacy protocols I was talking initially. So you saw template, right? Standard template which are available inbuilt with the APM. So for this protocol, we have support HTTP SOAP, database protocol, okay, application server like Citrix, Linux, and mail protocol, POP3, SMTP, and generally support like DNS, SSH, and other like FTP protocol. All those things are, it was there before and it is still continuing. And Pro, what kind of like samples? So once you configured, right, what kind of samples RUM probe will collect? Okay, these are all the at least 15 samples are collected by the RUM probe, and you have 15 reports to have a look on the APM side. RUM report basically you have in the application. Okay, so now the question comes here. So I have 15 reports. How do I, and what purpose I'll use? Okay, so for that I just created a flowchart. I mean it was available and just pasted here. So if you want to track, okay, business transaction related problems, okay, you can go to this path, click on application summary, and go, you can follow this path. And if you have a general application problems, you can go to this path, RUM session analyzer, session summary, and like that, you can go through that path. I'll just say this slide. You can, based on, in lab, you can go through it probably. Yeah, here is comes for the client monitor probe. Okay, so client monitor in-house client monitor probe is like this a web server. Okay, so client monitor probe sits inside the customer premise basically. Okay, whenever user talk to this one, right, talk to the web server, so that that communication goes to client monitor probe, and from there engine will process, and you can go to the BSM. I'll explain it in next slide. And in a cloud environment, right? So the RUM client monitor sits on one of the Amazon EC2 server basically. Okay. So these are all the some reports, RUM mobile report basically. So you can see the health wise, right? So what is the availability and performance? All those things you can see in the RUM report basically. If possible, I'll just cover it. I don't have data, but let's see how. And if you see here, one thing here, it's a bigger icon and smaller icon. Okay, you can just in first glance you can see more than 5% of total sessions, and like percentage based on the percentage of a session, this icon will get changed. Okay. Yeah, CM probe, how it works, I just want to have a touch on this actually. So this is a traditional, you have sniffer probe, right? So this is that path we have discussed in the third slide, okay? CM probe, what is the end user? Directly talk to the client monitor probe. Client monitor probe will talk to the engine. So we have seen that, it's another diagram. So RUM engine, and from there it works actually, okay? So I'll go to one, this one, I'll show the application health report. I'm not sure, then we'll come to here. I'll just see whether I have data. Not sure. Application health.
Praveen, can you make it clearer why we need the client monitor in that environment that you show in 2 slides back? If you have the RAM sniffer probe that monitor your all the traffic, why you need a client monitor? What problem it comes to solve?
Client monitor, see, suppose if you, there is a different purpose. Suppose if you have an app, right? So I'll take an example of your mobile app, okay? So you, suppose if you have a banking app like Citibank or something, right? So that's a plain app, okay? So if you want to monitor, the bank wants to monitor how my app is working, okay? How it is performing, okay? So what it is,
Oh,
they will
from the
purchase
app
our
side.
solution.
Okay, now. So it gives you the app side. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So they you have to instrument that app in the RUM engine. Okay. Here there is a option. I'll show you. Here tools, mobile application instrumentation. For this, you have to configure the mobile application. Okay. And you should have a CM probe. Once that is there, okay, you have to application for testing purpose, right? So you can create. Say application, once you create, it will list here. I don't have a application for mobile, and client monitor probe, you have to paste it here, and you have to upload the APK file here.
We have a lab for that. We will show.
Okay. Okay. Once that is done, so this whatever the client monitor probe information, right, that will be infused into the application. Citibank, whatever, right, that infused, and now whatever transaction you do, the app knows how to send the data to the CM probe. Okay, got it, right? Your question answered?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, here is the one app I created, advantage online banking, right? So I just click on this. Now availability is showing, performance also showing. Yeah, I think yes, Yesterday one person asked it's showing some 100% or something, right? So for I mean performance also showing 100% something, I think, right? I think I remember somebody's asked actually. I to observe actually. I
Yeah.
will get the information. Yeah, I'll get the
Yes, but
information.
the issue,
So I'll make.
yeah, but the issue it is these percentage it is not stable, not always on. This is the point.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to this app overview. You can see, I mean, in the dashboard view, you can see the all apps and what is the status, everything. And you can go to user monitor. I'll go to sessions directly. Let me see. Okay. So yeah, there are two sessions available. This is the session I created using the JPEG store. Okay, this application. I created and let us see. I'll see whether you see the status. Fine, reward. So let's see, something is coming. Yeah, let us see. Pause, right? One of the point here, like whether it's traffic is coming or not, you can see in one place. I'll show it to you. So all this transaction, if you click multiple click, if you do right, so it will create some traffic on the over the network. So this the app you can create the delayed response also. Say support 12 or something, 12 seconds. Delay. Let me introduce and see. Okay, I think continue. Okay, so when there's one place actually, you whether it's traffic is, I mean, if you, everything your configuration perfectly fine, right? You can go and see here. There's a folder called. I'll show you. This is the your when you go inside C drive and go inside HP RUM probe. And there is a where folder, and you have to click on spool, and here RUM probe. Here there's something called channels. Under you, since you clicked pages, right? So you can go on these pages and see. If you see here, there is some 904. Current time is 905. 1 minute back, there is a data generated. This means you can see that there is no problem with the probe and probe and engine configuration. You can mean whatever the application you configured, that got percolated to the engine, and engine it from engine it got percolated to the probe. That is very clear. Okay, this should be the first place you can see whether data is getting generated or not. Okay, they just remember this path: where spool, RUM probe, channels, RUM pages. Okay. So I created some data. See what is the traffic now. Go to dashboard and see. One thing you just remember in dashboard, right? So dashboard you will always see last 5 minutes data or something. If you don't, there's no data, it will be, I mean, 5 minutes or I think 10 minutes or something. So recent data you should have. Then only it will be availability, and it will be shown properly. Otherwise, it will show as a no data. Okay. Let us see. So this app overview, you can see real users, 7 real users are created the traffic for it, and there is a total failure. If anything is there, it will be displayed. Total time, okay, and what was the average availability? Okay, it has shown 100%, and response and everything you can see here. And if you want to go to session, Okay, so status also you can see here. Also you can see the availability. See performance 100%, availability 100%. Because I generated some data now, so I think based on that it has showing. So you can go to the session, like suppose take a first session, click on it. Okay, you cannot go to session details directly. Okay, you have to go to session first and go to session detail and action taken place, right? I clicked on sign off button and all those things, right? These are yesterday date, I think. So you can see here response time, what was the network time, connect time, and all those things, right? You can see here total time, how much time it took, server time plus network time, it will be calculated and shown the total time. And what is the HTTP code, traffic, how many bytes of traffic, okay, receive traffic, send traffic, all those every detail you can get it from here. Okay, and app infra. So here is the app infra. Like if you enable tide discovery, it will be shown here. Okay, I'll show you where we have to enable tide discovery in a minute. And the location, I think I have IP of this actually by default, so it's showing one location. From this here, the data is got generated. So here, I mean, from here, this location, performance availability and performance and availability both are 100%. Okay, so I'll just show where you can go and enable the tide discovery. It's very difficult to cover it in 1 hour. Actually, it's a very vast subject. I have crisped many things and I'm showing. So here, if you select application, right? Okay, there are 4 things actually. General, okay, where you have discussed, right? So engine and HTTP and all, right? So session, if you want to capture anything on the session. So I have created one setting here. Okay, sign on and sign off, right? So I am from signing on onwards and till signing off onwards, I am taking it as a one session. Okay, like that you can configure. And if you want to create a snapshot out of it, I mean, if you want to capture a snapshot, you can configure here how many snapshot you want to capture. To monitor 2 pages, how it is performing. I mean, what's the response time on these 2 pages that what are pages you want to, you see here, view category. 1 second, let me explain. Shop view category, some setting I have done actually. So that parameter name is dogs and cats. These 2 pages, right? Dogs and cats. Yeah, these 2 pages I wanted to monitor. So that I have configured there here. Okay. Then events. If you want to configure an event by, like, suppose I configured one event here. Suppose 300 page event. Suppose I want to anybody hitting my one page with 300 times. Like suppose it could be hacking or something. Then send me an alert. That we can configure here actually. Like by default, you will be having a start page and performance event. These two are default. It will come with APM. Anything you can, apart from this, anything you can configure it. The start page is like if anybody, like there's an option to stop right here. Refresh is there and stop. If I stop it in between, one the event will be generated. That will be too much actually. So I mean, it's up. There's a request, customer request came and we have included that. These 2 things will be there by default. Okay, and I will show the documentation. This is the documentation here for the real user monitor 9.52. Okay, so I'll just open it. By default, all microfocus employees have edit permission. I mean, they can edit this one docs. At least propose the if any correction is there, then you can propose for it. I think it will last for what happened. Okay. I'm doing something. So while it's coming up, I'll just talk through this. So APM to RUM anything like troubleshooting stuffs, right? So a few things I just wanted to cover. So if you log into not login, so I'll show in UI only. Yeah, if you see happen, okay. So first thing you need to see the health here, okay. Anything with snipper probe, okay, you can see all the health here. And one thing you can like capacity monitoring, right? So here you can see the how much traffic is running on this probe. Based on this, you can go for, you can recommend for the processor, this one, right? Change the number of processor, how much you need it. Based on this, you can, if it is like 400 Mbps or something, probably packet buffering or something, it stop. I mean, you'll see start seeing the probe is getting restarted or something. It's the one thing you can see here, okay, how much it's running. And pages per second also you can see how many pages are per second is being processed by the probe, that you can see here. And resource utilization, you can see how much memory and all those things, total memory you can see, CPU you can see here, okay. Disk utilization you can see, and packet queue, anything is in packet queue. Pages cached, how many pages are cached in a, suppose if you say heavily loaded environment, right, there is some buffer is there. So if it is not able to process that much, you will see this counter queue overflow counter, right? You can see it should be always 0. If it is making to 1 or something, right, then there is a, I mean, you just think that probe is not able to process that much traffic, okay. It's the probe side. And engine side, right? So engine side, if you go and see here, so this BB retrieval, just keep it in mind. So BB retrieval is related to probe, okay. One module, it's engine module. There are so many modules on an engine. BB retrieval is the one of the module. This talk to probe. This like you can see all these parameters, get like pages, how much it's if anything is not able to process, right, it will come as a thrown objects, okay. Process, if it is successfully processed, it will come here, okay. All are showing green now, okay. This is the one BB retriever. It is the module talking to the probe just. And another module is like config manager. I am not sure whether it is there here. That config manager is the one, it will talk to talk to BSM basically. If anything like you are setting, right, if it is just screw up one thing and show it to you. Not here. APM configuration. So I'll just share. I'll keep it and save it. So it is saved, and you do RTSM sync, right? See here. If you see here, fail to connect to APM probe, validate the running configuration. Check config manager dot log. It says that configuration manager is the module. It is talking between, I mean, engine is talking via that configuration manager to the APM. You got it, no? What I'm saying. Yeah, that is the two thing you want to. Yeah. So probe I have shown. like where you can see the once everything configured, where you can see the traffic shown to you. And so if this firewall issue is very sometime it becomes a blocker for many deployment I have seen actually. By default, when you especially RHEL 7x and RHEL 8x, right, those comes by default with firewall enabled. So just have a look when if you especially when you sync between probe and engine, right, this one, right. So it will be shown as even though if it is enabled probe process has started, right, it will come as probe not able to talk to engine. That because of sometime most of the times because of the firewall. Just have a look on the firewall issues and some settings problems. Like basically I have shown that one error config manager log, right. So that those are all the setting problems. So let's jump into the documentation. This is the item practitioner portal. You have to log in with your micro focus. Or if you have a Google account, you can log in there also, but you don't have permission to change anything there actually. So I'll log in.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the release monitor 9.52. Okay, so you can see release notes, install guides, and administrator. In administrator, you can see how data collection we discussed, right? How it works, data collection method. See how whatever I describe, I mean, what I explained, right? How it works, all those things. It is available here. Client monitor probe. This is the one I explained to you. And Diffie, right? Something you are seeing, Diffie-Hellman. That's what I was one of the slides I was discussing how it works. Diffie-Hellman related documentation available. And I mean, because we have once we proposed this right. I mean, once we developed this, we had many queries from the customer saying that how to make it working and all those things, right? We have answered few questions. So like if you are trouble in like HTTP traffic, right? So before after load balancer only you can make it to HTTP and send it to the probe. All those I mean many approaches are there actually available here. You can go through it. Okay, it's very, I mean, very in one day actually, I mean couple of hours. So install anything if you want, install here. So overall documentation available here. So let me know, go through it and let me know if any questions. Yeah, that's what I wanted to cover. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Let me know any questions.
So earlier you had said that you could have up to 6 probe instances on one probe system. Is
Yes.
that equivalent to 6 span ports, or how does that math
Actually, so probe, right? 6 probe. Each probe should be configured to a separate engine. You got it, right? So it has to be, I mean, architecture wise, it has to configure to each engine. So that particular engine will collect the data from that probe instance. Suppose a probe 2 on that system, it has to connect to the engine 2. Okay, because what there is a limitation in the probe. Why that is needed is probe will generate 3000 pages per second of traffic. Okay, but engine support only 2000 pages per second. Okay, because of that purpose, we are recommending the multiple engines. I mean, one probe, one engine. That approach we are basically
thank you.
recommending. Okay.
Decryption of SQL. and configure the NIC, the network card. Can you go over and explain about that, please?
Okay, okay. And probe management, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, probe management, there is something called interface configuration. So I'll just go through it. See, in the during first slide, second, third slide, if you go, I was talking about mirror, right? Okay, this mirror port. This mirror port will not have any IP. Okay, so probe system will have two interfaces. Okay, this system has two interfaces. One is receiving the traffic, mirror traffic. For that, there is no IP needed. And other interface is connected to the engine. Okay, I think the one which is connected to engine has this IP address. This IP is the one it is connected to the engine. Okay. By default, it comes if it is, I mean, link is up and snippable and all this information, it will be available here. It will be check mark. So that interface you can use it for. See, since I am using probe and installed their only web server, right? So it's coming as here. But if two interfaces, snippable interface, it will be check mark.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. And also you can here if you want to specific, right? So if you want to for this specific bitpack configuration, you want to have this specifically for this probe, right? You can select this. One second. You can select this and save the configuration and upload. So I'll show you currently bitpack configuration. Configuration manager. Now if you see only bitpack configuration, it's a general configuration for all the probes. Okay, for this specific purpose, if you want to have, just refresh it. So I'll show you, it will get created. So select this and save and upload the configuration. So because I think APM setting somewhere is the problem, I'm guessing. Okay, go to probe. Where is that? Interfaces. Okay, so I selected and save and upload configuration. Yeah, now it's successful. If you go to engine, you can see here bitpack configuration is created for this particular probe. This in the probe name will come actually. I mean, it comes in between. What are the probe name I configured and constant and configuration. It will be having specific to, if you want a specific configuration, right? Like any particular traffic, I mean, interfaces you need to, you can configure here actually.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions on this, or this is the what you are looking, or you want some other internal one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm wondering how it works. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any questions further?
Question: what's the difference between active connection and session connection? I saw that on when you were showing active connections.
Yeah, session connection, active connection is currently the one which is active at the point of time. This session connection is overall, I mean, how many people has so far, like terminated session plus active session, both it will be displayed here actually. Because so see, there's a configuration. after like say 20 minutes or something, right? So we can take that as a, like suppose a people, right? So they will keep one session active and they can lock their computer, right? So you cannot take that session as a I mean continuously. You cannot like one session. If it is inactive like for say 10 minutes or something, then you can, then after that whatever transaction he does, right, that will be taken as a new session basically. So that, I mean, new users has logged in, that way you can take it. Okay, there is a session reset time also here. If you go here, I have seen somewhere. And user monitoring. So if you see in the banking website, right, say after 5 minutes, right, so if you keep on logged on and kept it, right, it will give a error popping, like there no activity, it will be get logged after 5 minutes or something like that, similar to this actually. So if you go to general somewhere, not this the one automatic I was discussing, enable automatic tire discovery. It's a backend, I mean web server, application server, and this one. So there is a app available actually. You can I'll just show it to you. That app you can put it like JPEG store multi-tied app is there. That is a multi-tied one. You can you can configure that hit to make a hit, and that will get discovered. I'll show you. And this is for the parameter extraction. If you want to enable any parameter like transaction, suppose how much amount transaction done or something like, right? So that you can extract. And the username detection, like I have configured like in the get post parameters. So if any user called J2E, just show it to me in the session analyzer report, that configuration. So somewhere I saw parameter extraction, page discovery, not this. See here, session reset, 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, okay, one session is idle, okay, it will be session will be reset, and it will be in whenever next time it will be logged in. So that will be taken as a new session by the RUM. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions further?
Okay. Thank you very much, Praveen. It was a great
Thank
session.
you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anyway, you just summarize the question. If anything which I not answered, just send it to me. I'll just reply to that mail in probably. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.